Most of you who know about Aboriginal politics in this country and Anita's work would know about the Andrew Bolt case. I'm not going to spend too much time on him because he doesn't deserve it. But Anita, you said in your book that this was the hardest thing that you've ever done. Is this true? I mean, is this still the case? Or have there been harder obstacles you've had to jump over in terms of your life experience?
That's a good question. I think I'll start with answering the second part of that. I would say the only harder things in my life are losing family members and unnecessarily, like losing my cousin Naomi Williams and so forth. So they are hard obstacles and challenges for individuals, but also whole families. In terms of the Andrew Bolt case, and we do have, like back then, we'd said we've got to have a Bolt-free day because it was all consuming. But in terms of the Andrew Bolt case, it was the hardest thing I had to do because Andrew Bolt wrote these articles. I wake up one day, you know, the headlines are "Meet the New White Face of Black Australia" and it's hip to be black. And then I'm just inundated with all this race hate through email, through the media and so forth. And I think the hard thing was, there's a number of hard things. You know, I had to sit in a court of law, go through a legal process with the 9 other people in the court case to actually prove my Aboriginality. Now, no other group in Australia has to prove who they are through the court of law, right? And so we had to prove in the court of law through a legal process that what he had said, which is that we weren't black, or that we had chosen to be black for the purpose of financial gain and so forth, that I had to prove through this. So it was challenging because it was unfair and unjust, right? So that was very difficult. It was emotionally traumatic because every morning I would wake up during those 2 years, then after the court case where we won, but then with the release of the book, to emails every morning from random people who, you know, made up email addresses and would CC in editors and publishers and newspaper media around the country and call me every N word under the sun. None of them could spell. So, you know, note that, please. And then so it was waking up to this, and it's traumatic because in my world, you don't do that. People don't behave like that. You don't speak like that. You don't think like that. You don't think it's okay to contact somebody randomly and be abusive. And then also there were, you know, people in the case got death threats. I had to have a bodyguard for an event at the Wheelers Centre where there were 400 people who had registered. And kudos to Michael Williams, who is now the artistic director of the Sydney Festival, because they were amazing. And my publishers at Random House were amazing. And Martin Flanagan, who I was in conversation with. And I can joke about it now because I felt a little bit like, you know, Whitney Houston in The Bodyguard, with the bodyguard outside the bathroom, and I'm texting my friend going, "Oh my God, like he's outside the toilet door." But it was quite distressing because that's not how normal people live, is it? And so for me, it was, had I known prior to the case how traumatic it was going to be, I don't think I would have gone in the case. However, I spoke to my very dear friend who I've known for over 30 years, even longer than I've known you, I think, Larissa Barrett. We were undergrads together at UNSW, and who was in the case with me. And I spoke to her, like, I don't know about the law, what should I do? And she said, "Anita, the kids in Victoria have to deal with this shit every single day." So it was about assuming the role and responsibility of making the change. And yeah, so I don't think there's anything more difficult. I know that nothing can hurt me like it did. And I do know that it's probably the most significant thing I will do in my lifetime, I think. Yeah.
Great.